So it is March 19th, 2021. My name is Jared, and welcome to Engineering the Markets. We will go ahead and get started. So I figured it's Friday. Let's take a look at where we are on the weekly on the SPY. We do have what is potentially a reversal type of candle. And when we look at the weekly, we're also seeing a little bit of a decline in volume. So it's notable that while we did make a new all-time high, we have not technically closed a new weekly all-time high. And we seem to not be able to hold it in the SPY. So the pullback is notable on the weekly, where we're not really seeing a lot of follow through, and we're obviously putting in, at least in the past 5 days, sort of a bearish look on the weekly. We know that some of this is due to tech weakness. We know that some of this is due to rotation. But overall, if you're just looking at the SPY, there is a little bit of a bearish tilt on the weekly. And what that means is we're kind of scouting a deeper pullback than previously decided. And we're trying to see if the market can hold in this area to make a very solid base for us to continue higher. And if not, obviously, we're targeting much lower prices, somewhere closer to the channel lows that we targeted in the past. So looking at our daily, we did see an increase in volume yesterday as the market did sell off. We appear to be holding right around the lows, 390.75, so we'll call it 390 for the purposes of analysis. This was an area of interest in the past, and we're starting to see whether or not this upper area can hold, or if the market needs to pull back much further, potentially coming down to this sloping downtrend line that was made during the sell-off. We've talked consistently about how the market value is sitting slightly below us at 390, and seeing this pullback, especially today when we're looking at triple witching or quadruple witching, depending on what you want to call it. Future contracts in the ES do appear to have an interest in this price level. And therefore, while we did pull back to it, I want to see today, obviously, can we hold? And if not, we're kind of shooting for much lower targets. Looking at our 4-hour, is there anything of concern? We did lose the 20. We're starting to breach the 50. And then, our last line of defense is the 200 in regards to these moving averages. I think overall, if we have to pull back to this downtrend line, it's not a major concern, but it is a deeper pullback than expected. I would have hoped and looked for this to be sort of a final resting place, as it is a recent relative high, and it's closer to that 390 value area that we keep bringing up. And we can see that on the 30-minute chart with our volume profile. We're pretty much at a huge volume shelf in the markets right now. And the way to interpret this is that while the market had to pull back all the way to value, it's not necessarily a bearish thesis, in that the market simply believes that this is the most fair price over the past 30 days. And when you're looking at a day like a triple witching going on, you would expect that this area to be an area where they want to do a lot of transactions on rolling the future contracts. So nothing, in my opinion, of concern on this pullback. But obviously, if we're bullish, we want to move away. If we're bearish, they're going to gap us through this value and bring us lower. So, and we'll bring it down to our 10-day 30-minute. VPOC sitting at 393.88 on the 30-minute. As I was saying, if we're looking at the 1 month or the 30-day perspective, that 390 holds more weight. Shorter term, this would be an upper target, VPOC, if we were to move higher. And then if we needed to continue lower, we have this value shelf, which once again, closer to 390 than anything. And then we have the lower range, which would bring us down to the downtrend line that we have drawn. So really would like to see where this pre-market range brings us today. We saw weakness yesterday. It brought us to value. And now we have a little bit of work to do to get through this shelf, at which point it would bring us to the lower range. If not, then we're targeting VPOC once again on the short time frame. So this could be an upper target for today. It actually coincides quite well with the low from yesterday before we broke down. Let's see, let's pull this back to the weekly. So now we're going to look at the Qs. And actually, let's see, on the Qs, notable rejection of the 325 area. We're just barely holding the 20 moving average, and we have a lot of confluence coming together at this 310, 311 area. So Qs continue to be an area of weakness. We are seeing high volume and high volatility in this product. And one thing that we want to make sure doesn't occur from a bullish perspective is losing this area, which would be a cause for concern given that we could not breach above 325. And you can see this pretty clearly on the daily. We have a nice, well-defined range here. We have our lower end range, and then now we're trying to hold this upper range, potentially forming what could be considered an inverse head and shoulders. For the purposes of future contracts rolling, the market does place fair value closer to about 311. So once again, similar to the SPY, it's not, to me, as much of a concern to see this pullback, as the market likes to transact a lot of the rolls at fair value. But from a technical perspective, we do want to see this hold, this be our head, and then we essentially want to see this move higher if we were to be bullish and break this level. This is going to take some time to form. So obviously in the short term, we want to stay flexible, but the perspective of us selling off into fair value needs to be confirmed with a breakthrough of this level if we were to be bearish. And that could bring us all the way back down to our lower range, especially if we get a lot of selling in this range. So 180-day 4-hour. We're just right on the edge of holding this this low point. We do have what appears to be a little bit of an attempt to hold and bounce from this area. So we do have some potential structure being formed down here. But overall, you know, the thesis remains the same. We have clear levels. Pullbacks to those levels are not a cause for concern, but a loss of those levels, and especially a back test and failure to go higher, those are things of concern from the perspective of a bull. If you're, you know, bearish, you want to see this level crack. This is a very important price point for the Qs. Let's see, let's bring this to the 10-day 30-minute and load up our volume profile. So value for a long time has been sitting around 311. It looks like it's moving up slightly based on today's price action, but you can see just how much value is being placed here. There's a lot of transactions occurring here. There's also a lot of transactions occurring around here. So the reason you don't want to lose this level is because the value drops off significantly and there's not a lot of support down here for things like a bounce. Markets would have to basically have a new catalyst to ensure that this is going to be an area of interest. So while we are pretty much on the tipping point at the Qs, this is the line in the sand that we want to keep holding. And you can see how well it's being respected this morning. And then on the shortest time frame, let's see. Oh, that was our 10-day, 30-minute. So I guess this is our short time frame. Let me look at the 30-day, 1 hour. Yeah, so value sits at about 317. That's what I was thinking. Sorry. So the past 30 days, value is sitting above us, but short term, we're at the low end of value, which is going to be this 310, 311 area. So, okay, so Qs have a lot to prove. We're bouncing range to range. One consideration is that if you believe this range will hold, you obviously want to kind of scout bearish opportunities at the high end of the range and scout bullish opportunities at the low end of the range. The reason this can work pretty well is you get pretty good risk to reward. You can kind of define your stop very close to an entry point. And if you're correct, you can get a ton of follow through back to test the upper end of the range and similarly to the low end of the range. So if you're familiar with range trading, you can get some really good risk to reward if you know, or if you see opportunity at highs and lows of a range. And we have a pretty good one in the Qs. So there may be some opportunity in tech if this can hold today. Let's see. And then finally, let's go to our IWM. Let's load our 2050-200, and then let's zoom in on the weekly. So the weekly is putting in a pullback, but it is showing so far less volume than the breakout candle that we had at all-time highs. Usually when I'm looking at these, I want to see how far down this pullback is going. And can they at least close not at the lows? You know, if you want to consider this as more of a resting bar, a pullback bar to look for a breakout. We're sitting right at pretty much the upper trend line right here. And you can see that in the past, this has offered some good buy zones for this product. So on this pullback bar, if you're looking at the weekly or even the daily for confirmation, you kind of want this area to hold, and then the breakout of the highs would be the confirmation that this is simply sort of like a 3-bar play, where you have a ignition bar, a resting bar, forming a range, and then you get your breakout to go higher. On the daily, however, this does look a little bit more concerning because of the increasing volume that we're getting on the selling that occurred yesterday. So IWM was our strongest index. We did expect this one to break through all-time highs on this bounce. But now that we're seeing some acceleration to the downside, we may need to be a little bit more cautious looking at this as a pullback attempt. We obviously know that losing this trend line would be cause for concern. And our next area of interest would be the 50. But after that, there wouldn't be a lot helping us until potentially the daily uptrend line, which sits, let me zoom this out, which sits all the way back at the crash lows. So this would be basically a loss of a lot of bullish drifts that we had. And we would see this across the markets if it were to pull back that heavily. But short term, this is sort of the area we're scouting. We want to see if this can hold, and then potentially the 50 or even the lows before we bounced, sort of an inflection point that was put in this area. Afterwards, we'd have to be looking at larger structures for any sort of confirmation. We're sitting, basically right at that point. The 20 and the 50 are starting to cross due to some of the weakness yesterday. And now the 200 on the 4-hour is sort of our line in the sand. It does act as an area of support in the past, so we have a reason to respect this moving average. And it's acted as inflection points in areas where the market can stall or also sell off from if we're testing it from above. So this is an area of interest. We're going to give it maybe a couple of dollars to account for the fact that it's a rough area. And we want to see if value coincides with that. And when we look at our value profile, volume profile, we do see that VPOC is sitting right where we are currently. So market bounced, got a little too ahead of itself. We couldn't put enough support in this area, and we pulled back to value. Now the objective is, can we move away and start building new support zones higher? Or do we have to breeze through all of this previous value and eventually crash because there's not a lot of support below us? Obviously, any loss of this zone would be cause for concern because of how much interest was placed here. There's a ton of market participants in this area, such that VPOC really doesn't stand out that much. It's pretty much the same across the board all the way down to 217. So, and then short term, our 10-day, 30-minute, VPOC is sitting above us. So the market weakness yesterday, we moved away from value. Given that we're looking at larger structure and larger trend lines to maybe look for the bounce play, we want to see this hold, and then the target would be back up to value. So just kind of playing the thesis of, if you're at value, you can move in either direction. But if you move away from value and you find another area of support, you can easily traverse back to value. So it's just back and forth, kind of playing the market oscillations that we're doing here. Okay, so given that it is Friday, I want to maybe open the chat to a couple of questions. If y'all want to look at anything in particular, I can bring it up. But otherwise, Friday is kind of the lagniappe session, kind of poopery, different questions. So if y'all want to look at anything in particular, let me know. Let's see, gold. So we'll look at the ETF for this one. Gold did have a notable bounce back here. This is a previous bounce point. So this was an opportunity for a short-term sort of return to something like the 20 or even as high as the recent inflection point. I think with gold, you definitely want to see the dollar kind of correlate with gold in terms of the weakness in the dollar can provide some opportunity in gold. And if we look at DXY today, gold has been kind of getting a little bit of strength recently. It's kind of oscillating at this point, so hard to read directionality short term, but it definitely has been bouncing quite strongly from some of our support zones. So a pullback in the dollar here could maybe provide some more opportunity in gold. And let's see if there's anything in the futures that gives us more clues. We saw that same bounce point, and then we saw really there's a lot of consolidation right here. So we want to at least take note that this is a pretty tight range. So our upper target would be this inflection. Yeah, so it all kind of lines up here. This would be your high-end target, and this was your entry point. So because we're in the middle of the range, I would say the opportunity is sort of equal-sided. If you go long, you're still targeting this point, and if you go short, you're targeting here, but your stop loss has to be a little bit tighter to get sort of a 2-to-1, unless you do something with a skewed risk to reward like an option play. Let's see. See if there's a couple more. How did you acquire your knowledge? It's amazing. So, I mean, a lot of it's just through trial and error, seeing what the market tends to respect. I try not to overcomplicate too much because each piece of information is just putting together different theses. And if you get a lot of things lining up in one direction, it can be a pretty powerful confirmation. But overall, we're just blending a little bit of technical, a little bit of value, the volume profile, and then just understanding that there are people doing short-term plays, and then there are more long-term perspectives. So sometimes these opportunities are more long-term focused and therefore take more time to resolve. And you can either wait for confirmation on those, or you can get a position started and then obviously add to it in the long term. What info can you get from futures before the markets open? How are they different from pre-market action on indexes, ETFs? For futures, I think the big thing is recognizing that some of these products do track the future movement. So we want to be sure that there's nothing out of the ordinary occurring in the futures market prior to evaluating our ETF products. For things like today, where we're getting this rolling of contracts, there are ways to read the contract that they're rolling to, and what is the mid price of that contract that they're rolling to, because the market will try to keep the current contracts at that price so that the roll doesn't cause like a deviation in price. So that's typically where we see value come into play. And really, if I look at the ES contracts, the value is sitting right around where the future contracts are going to be, which is about 39.11. So I use the SPY and the value profile just to confirm the fact that the market's pulling back there because they want to do transactions there. They want to roll their future contracts there. Let's see, I'm going to shift over to YouTube just to see if there's any other things to look at here. David Eyes wants to look at Tesla. Let's see if I can pull it down a little bit more. Tesla's kind of hard to read here. So we've seen a bounce here, and we're seeing it in pre-market. The thesis on the Qs is that we're at a support zone. So it's very possible for stocks in the NASDAQ to see a similar bounce today, but there needs to be follow through in the Qs for this to actually show anything significant. So a little bit of a range here. It coincides decently with where we bounced in the past. And then our daily, we have this larger area of interest where if we lose this, I would expect this to be the target. We did not see any follow through from the Wednesday session. And the idea was that they were trying to break down from this flag. And then obviously it was a false breakdown, but there was no follow through. So right now things are a little hard to interpret. The momentum is down due to the 20. And if they break this area, I think the target would have to be here, the 619, basically the recent bounce point. Yeah, 619. Let's see. AI, please. So this is C3 AI. Let me look at it on the, so this is where it opened. So we've lost sort of the beginning of our price level, came through and rejected. So we are sort of in a downtrending perspective. I think here you'd have to be looking more from the investing perspective and whether you believe this company is going to be long-term bullish. But right now things are looking a little bit more on the bearish side. We did reject here. And if they had to pull it down all the way back to the lows and not see any follow through, you know, this could easily continue for much longer. I see this $20 range candle here, and the fact that we're breaking the low means that this could continue for another $20 using just basic range rules. So the selling here could be much worse. Now, if the Qs recover, this could just consolidate a little bit more. But this is a pretty weak candidate overall in the tech sector. And finally, I'm gonna look at DNN. And I'm not gonna look at things that are of this price level. So let's look at PayPal. Kind of looks like the Qs to some degree. We did have a range up here. We actually rejected the lows here and we're pulling back. So I think the target has to be this lower area. Yeah, I'm not seeing a ton of support being placed here. I think a lot of things are hinging on the Qs bouncing today. And if they don't, some of these weaker candidates may see worse follow through to the downside. They'll be relatively weaker. There's an obvious support zone right here, and this curling action, you know, you're somewhere in the middle of this range right now. So the momentum looks to the downside. We could easily come and back test this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here a couple minutes early, but basically moving forward, expect some of those resources that I've been referring to start coming out. I'm also going to define a lot of the questions of how to use these indicators. I know that's been a general question that most people have had. There are ways to use this information short term and also long term. So for general market directionality, there are ways to use it. There's also just not really fighting against value areas. And we'll try and piece all that together and interpret how to leverage this into your day trading and swing trading theses. So, all right. Well, then with that said, thanks everybody. Happy Friday. Happy triple, quadruple witching day. And look forward to seeing y'all on Monday. We'll start off with a fresh new week and a fresh perspective once we get past this day. So thanks everyone. Off to Carlos and Norm with the pre-market prep.
Having an amazing morning. I hope you had a great
There
day
you go. Good
yesterday.
morning.
Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Hope you are as well.
All right, doing good, doing good. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome. Let's get started here. Let's look at what we had yesterday on our watch list here, starting with a laser. So laser was on deck, guys. And this one here, very, very active. Even in the pre-market, this thing just was insane yesterday. Hold on a second. Let me put this down here. Yep, there we goes. So just insane yesterday into the intraday action after the market opened. It was just a beautiful short. We talked about this yesterday in our Ask Me Anything with Brian and I. And again, in here, guys, this is when Brian called it out for a short. Just an amazing entry. And you could see the drop. You had to hold through some pretty decent pullbacks, though. It was not easy to stay in this trade. The pullbacks were a little bit wild. The spread was also a little bit wider than what we would like to see. But then just an amazing drop here. And never really bounced. You got a little bit of a base happening here into some moving averages, but again, slamming down again, pretty nice here on laser yesterday. CCL, huge drop right out of the gates here, guys. A beautiful opening range breakdown on the 5 minute. Also great levels off the pre-market lows. Just continues to drop here, very nice. So this was very clean also, and also gave you a nice reversal towards the top here back to the VWAP. So that was nice. And then many stocks, you're going to see this around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. They just started dropping again towards their lows, or just continuation if they were dropping from the market open to begin with. Here was AMC. As AMC was tough, man. AMC was very, very choppy. As you can see here on this chart, eventually it did lose the VWAP and it sold off. But this one gave us a really hard time, and we saw that yesterday. It's just again, it looked like it wanted to break out from the high of the day. It never could, and it just kept bouncing back and forth. And just look how nasty these candles are. Every candle overlapping the previous candle. Eventually, again after 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, a lot of stocks selling down here. Baba, I didn't really watch the price action on Baba, guys. I had it on here. For me personally, I don't think this thing traded very well. So again, I just kind of put that one to the side there. Here's Ride. Ride was also very active yesterday, guys. This is the one with the bad news here, and look at the drop that it got. Now, perfect rising double. We spoke about this one as well yesterday. And you can see here, guys, just a nice drop coming down, leaving the VWAP. Does try to hold the VWAP and the moving averages here. So it's a little bit choppy here. Again, every candle overlapping the previous candle. But after 10:30, 11, look how clean it starts getting, right? It gets below the VWAP. Every time it tries to get above that, it has a very difficult time. And then from there, it just grabs onto the 9 moving average. And again, after 1 o'clock or so, many stocks dropping down. This one even more so with their negative catalyst yesterday. Here's Plug. Plug was all over the place. I just did not pay no attention to it. It was really choppy for the first hour or two. It just never looked good in the morning session. Later down the line, again, that 12, 1 o'clock time frame, you can see the drops here coming in on plenty of stocks getting below the VWAP and grabbing onto them 9 moving average. So it could have been for you, could have went either way. I think when we did the poll yesterday, it was like 50-50, right? As green and red trades. So again, just a very mixed day yesterday, depending on what you were watching. With that said, guys, let's get over to our market poll, see what the SPY is doing before we move on.
Yeah. So as Jared just did a spectacular market recap, if you guys throw a thumbs up, hit the like button on YouTube for Jared. He has just done an awesome job ending his second week doing that first half hour. I'm not going to break it down, but he mentioned what an important level we're sitting at here on some of these indices. So, like he said, I'm curious. This level's really important. I took a little bit of a hedging position yesterday. Depending on how the day goes, we'll see if I take it off for over the weekend or not. But a lot's going to depend on today. Bonds have pulled back a little bit, and that's helped the market overall. But it's not that big of a pop, and it almost got back to red earlier. So there is no economic data out today at 4 p.m. Market closes the weekend, baby.
Well, excellent. Looking forward to that as well.
I got a little bit of a laugh out of you.
Yeah, no, you did. I actually laughed before, and I was laughing more, but my mic was on mute. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's start here with our gappers list.
And that is right. Today is quadruple witching. So that's expiration of multiple time frames of options today.
Okay.
So as Jared pointed out, in his deal, and that's why I didn't really dip into it. But in case somebody's just joining us now, I won't dig too deep into it. You can research on your own, but if you see some funky price activity, it could be attributable to that. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's look at our watch list this morning, starting with well, first let's remove some of the stuff we have here. Let's go ahead there and get rid of this. There we go. Wolf. Is Wolf on our list?
No. Well, it was from yesterday.
Okay. All right, let's get rid of that, guys. Starting with our gappers up list this morning. SKIN today. Let's see what we got.
Z.
This didn't hold on.
ZKIN.
Yeah, hold on a second here. Let me link my, what is that? What's that banging up here? Is that on my end?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's, wow, it's the winds. Holy cow.
That's wind?
I think that's wind, man. I gotta check.
Either that or
there
the
must be
FBI's
something
about to
loose.
break in your front door.
Exactly. Or the SEC or something. Who knows? SEC. All right, let's link this up, guys. Over here. Here we go. Trade ideas linked. Perfect. Excellent. Get this out of the way. And now we should be able to click here. ZKIN this morning. Wow, nice activity happening today. They're up 20%. Good pre-market action. They are a low flow stock sitting at 9%. We had them on our list. What's it again?
I'm excited to talk about this one, buddy.
Well, yeah. What's
This
the catalyst on it?
This is a Chinese company that produces steel, and they're starting an NFT platform.
Oh wow, very nice, very nice. That's the new thing, man.
So I enjoy that. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. That is the new thing.
It reeks of a Kodak.
Yeah.
Or
BPTH.
What's the Riot? Long Island iced tea company stuff that makes beverages turning to blockchain or then weed and then COVID drugs. No.
Yep, absolutely. So, guys, be very, very careful with this one. We'll put it on here for now, but again, I probably won't be touching it either. We usually, the stuff that we put on the risky pile, we usually don't touch anyway. All right, let's look at FSR today. Is next. They're not a low flow stock, but they're moving pretty nice. Now, these guys, they were great the end of the month, last month of February. If you guys remember that, that was a lot of fun. It traded very nice. You had to be careful with the number of shares. Today, they're very active here, up 9.4 at the moment, 304,000 shares traded. So let's put that one on there on deck, guys. That looks good today. Heading on down, SLGG, this one not doing a whole lot, up 7.4. Got some volume here, 117,000 shares traded, but for the most part, not doing anything great there. Let's head on down, EBON. I know a lot of you guys like this one because you throw it out a couple of times here in the chat room, but I'm not seeing anything decent on it this morning. They're up 6.6. Their daily's a little funky here, 752,000 shares traded. How is this stock trading, by the way? I never really watched the price action. Let's look yesterday. Yesterday, not bad. Doesn't look too bad here yesterday, especially when everything else was selling off. This was actually selling up, so that's interesting. Yeah, might be worth taking a second look at. We'll put it on here, EOBN. UWMC, this one here, guys, not looking good. Pre-market action doesn't look great, so we'll skip on that one. Next, we have EXPR. This one here also does not look great. Their dailies, not great. We've seen this one before too, so I'm gonna skip on it, guys. It's not a good one for me there. Here's Mara. Bitcoin stuff is up nice today.
Yeah, Bitcoin's up a little bit this morning.
I like Mara, and we've done some pretty good trades on Mara the last month, and also CAN is a good one because this one here is up 3.4, 632,000 shares traded. And this one usually has shares for sure, so I do like to have this one on deck just in case. But Mara's daily, though, their daily looks real nice for a possible breakout, so definitely keeping this one on here today. FedEx, I know FedEx has some news come out. I heard that this morning, and they are up 5.5, 158,000 shares traded. Yeah, so that looks interesting. Night. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We'll throw FedEx on here, guys. I'm putting it as a possible because FedEx could be tough to trade for intraday type play. It's going to get the volume at the open. We just have to see how that's going to play out. For the most part, again, not the best intraday trading type stock. Even with earnings, even with good news, they just don't trade very well sometimes. Riot is on here. I already have Mara and CAN, so I'll keep those on deck. KNSA. What do we have here? KNSA. This one is up 5.2. 164,000 shares traded at the moment. Daily looks all over the place. What's the float on this? 30 million. But their daily is really out of whack. We're only about 2 million shares traded on this one day here.
Yeah, man. This is I believe it's out of Bermuda. It is a biotech that had FDA approval on a drug. So
Gotcha. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna skip on this, guys. This does not look good at all. It's pressed 10 cents now. That could get better, but just everything about it doesn't look clean on this one. And the volume very, very light. Although it's sitting at what is this? Share floats is sitting. I just had it. Where is it? There it is. 30 million. It really looks even worse than some of the low flow stuff that makes our list. So be careful on that one. All right, let's stop here. Let's take. Oh, hold on. Roblox. I want to see what's going on with Roblox. Is it getting any better? Wow, huge drop yesterday on Roblox, guys. Look at this day here. So we're back. We're still above our IPO price there, so that's good. But man, big drop yesterday here for Roblox, going from 77 all the way down to 67. It's a $10 drop on the day there. Still does not look like it's trading very clean here. You can tell. So yeah, I'm not gonna add that one to the list. Be very careful on that one. Let's see what's gapping down today. Not a whole lot. Is this right? Let's see time frames.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, that's good. All right, cool. SK. It's funny. One of the questions on the Ask Me Anything yesterday from me and Brian was, do we always have these many stocks in our watch list? And Norm, me and you know, just a year and a half ago when we started this show, this was our watch list right here. This was our gappers list. About 6 or 5 stocks.
Almost every morning, yeah.
Every morning.
And that was a big morning. That was a heavy morning.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason we don't dig in so deep these days is because there simply isn't the time to do so. The market recap used to be 5-7 minutes sometimes, and it's just not possible to do that when we have this many things to go through.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the blessing of that is, I remember a year ago, when the COVID, everything started happening. It's been about a year and a month. And the first day you and I came in and the whole thing was just lit up. It was wild. We didn't think it would last very long. And here we are a year later, and it's not been quite as bad this week. But even if you go back a few days, both sides being filled, it's just nuts.
Yeah, it's definitely insane.
I remember mornings coming in, turning on the computer, and there literally not being a single ticker on the gappers as I was getting prepared, and I was digging through stuff. That's why when you ask me if I have anything, a lot of times I don't because there's nothing on these gappers. But I used to have a few things I'd throw out that weren't on the gappers.
Right.
But sometimes we'd have nothing, and I'd be praying for like 1 or 2 to show up before we hopped on. Anyway.
And we used to go to the top gainers, the top active on the NASDAQ and just go through, see what we could scrub.
Nobody got time for that.
Yeah, and then we used to look at which ones were our favorite. Okay, well, let's see what we like, MU, AMD, and stuff like that. So this is nice. SKLZ, what do we have here? They are, whoops, what's going on here? There we go. SKLZ, they are down 10% this morning, 194 million shares flow. So I like the float here, and I like the drop we're getting. It is not a low flow stock. Right now, the spread is looking good. This got to have some pretty bad news. Usually when you start getting this drop like this with some good volume.
Yeah, they have a secondary offering.
Okay. Not the greatest news, but
that's a pretty thinly traded ticker. I've mentioned it before. Good for swing trades. I don't know that it's good for day trades. I haven't looked at it because it really doesn't get a whole lot of volume on a typical day. Gotcha. I want to answer because a couple of people asked, was it harder or easier to learn and or trade then?
Good question.
Or now? It's easier to, you can, I guess it depends on how hard you want to make it. What you got to do is force yourself to pick a few things and focus on them and not overcomplicate it and put too many tickers. I would say it's easier now. There's more volume. There's bigger moves in general, but you have to size appropriately in that case because you don't want to get caught off guard on something. It's got a little bit of both. I don't know that it's harder or easier. It's just different. But wait, there's opportunities every single day, and there's more opportunities.
Yeah,
that would be my perspective.
And key to add to that is, don't get FOMO. So much to watch, and you might pick stocks that don't move well that day, and other people had a different watches and their stuff, moved. So just don't get FOMO, don't go chasing stuff and getting bad entries, right? That's a big thing when you have a lot to watch. You tend to flip from one to the other, trying to find the right trade, and just don't do that. It doesn't work at all. You'll just frustrate yourself doing something like that. All right, let's head on down here. JFin. Now, this one we've seen before in the past. They are down 8.1 this morning, 792,000 shares traded. Big day yesterday for them. Let's see how that went here. There are 17 million shares flow. I was confused for Elfin, but now this is different. Still a low flow stock here. You want to be very, very careful with this one. As far as the volume, we're dropping nicely here. I do like the pre-market action, but for a low flow stock at 17, this volume is very light, guys. So I'm not sure about that. We'll put it on here for now. Let's see if that gets better as we move into the pre-market here. But at the moment, this volume is very light, although it's moving well. For that type of flow, 17, it's very scary. W key here, they are also low flow stock sitting at 6.3, volume 2.1 million shares traded. Pre-market actions, okay, could be better. Let's add this one to the low flow stock for now. We'll come back to it. Heading on down, we have Max, another low flow stock. Now, this one has no volume whatsoever, so we'll skip on this one. Daily also looks horrible there. T-Tac. I mean, this is just another GameStop entertainment type stock. I mean, this thing is just insane, guys. We've seen it yesterday. I will not touch this. Doesn't matter what it's doing. It's just managing the risk on something like this.
Well, they got a news halt yesterday. Whenever you get a high flyer, then you have a news halt, and they come out with a statement that they have no idea why their stock is doing what it's doing. It's generally not a good thing to be around.
Correct.
And it dropped hard.
Yeah. So again, I know these NFTs. Is it an NFT as well, or
yeah,
I think
it's
it is,
an
right?
NFT play.
Yeah. So just be careful with these. And this one out of all of them is probably one of the riskiest ones we've seen so far.
If you're going to trade one of these now that they've made that statement, I would stay away from it. It's scary as hell.
Yep, absolutely. ARRY here. This one, it is down 3.6. Not a low flow stock. 658,000 shares traded. Pre-market action looks okay. Their daily's been taking a hit over the last couple of days. They don't really get a whole lot of volume on their daily, mainly under 2.6 million. Looks like. So we'll put it on here. Let's see if today's going to be a difference maker. They are looking very nice as far as pre-market though. Great volume. Nice drop here this morning. Possible continuation after 2 really rough days here. This could be interesting. All right, I'm going to stop here. Wait, let's look at Plug, because Plug has been fun for us. Plug right now, yeah, I think Plug is worth putting on this list. They can trade very well. They are down 2.7 at the moment, 906,000 shares traded. They're sitting right at a great level on the daily. We bounced from here a couple of times already. So we'll see what happens there today. Okay, Norm, do you have anything you like this morning?
Nothing not already on the list, really.
All right.
We'll see what we get from the rest of the room and from YouTube.
Absolutely. All right, let's start here with Sky Trader. You are given a CCIV this morning, and what's going on here? They are up 1.3, 516,000 shares traded. Their daily just continues to consolidate right around this area here, right? We've seen plenty of action there, and this is a key level for them. This previous day close was area of prior support, then resistance for these 3 days here, support again yesterday, and even as far as 4 days ago. So yeah, I think worth watching. I think it could be interesting there, and this can trade very well. We've seen it in the past do some pretty nice things. So CCIVs on deck. Let's take a look at next we have WTI. What we have going. Oops, let's get it on both charts. WTI. No volume right now, so I'm gonna skip on this one for now. Let's look at CCL. CCL for the most part. What do we have going on with these travel companies? They're pretty much flat right now. They don't have great volume, so I don't think it is in play. I think we have to watch the markets and see how the markets are going to trend, and this is just going to probably follow suit. If we take a look at American Airlines and the rest of the airline travel sector, again, not much going on, very light on volume. So I don't think they're really independently in play like they were. Yesterday were very nice, and the day before, a couple of days ago as well. So we'll skip those for now. Let's take a look at BA. BA right now, the volume is a little bit light. BA can trade very well.
That's most mornings.
Yes, most mornings, right? Even with this volume, it can trade very well. But I just don't know if there's anything going on with the travel sector at all besides moving with the markets, Norma. I mean, what's your take on it? I don't think there's anything happening aside from that at the moment.
Yeah, but BA is a little while BA correlates with the travel sector to a degree. they have they're a little bit different in a sense, and they've had a lot of announcements of purchases and stuff this morning or recently.
Yeah.
So good news for them. BA. Let me see. I have not really looked at it this morning. If it got volume, maybe it's kind of secondary at best for me. I don't know that it's in play today. It's been trading great recently. I just don't know if today it's in play.
Right. Well, when it got all that great news, right, we saw these moves. That's the reason for that. They got new purchases and all that. So they did well there. Again, it's just they look good on the daily, but just don't know if the volume doesn't come in. This might not be a good one. ARRY. Did we look at this one already? I believe we did. Yeah, that's on the secondary list here. Let's see if that gets any better. The reason I have it there is because the volume tends to be a little bit lighter. So, but today they're already starting to look pretty good, 814. So that we might move that up depending on how things go here. Tesla looks interesting. Let's take a look on the daily. What do we have? Yeah, nice, interesting daily here on Tesla, holding on to this key level here where the previous day closes. You see a lot of touches on the daily there. So yeah, that could be interesting. Very active, 541. I'm not going to add it to my list, guys. I find Tesla a little bit difficult to trade, but if you like this one, definitely throw it on there. Here is NEO this morning. NEO, NEO. Let's get NEO up here. What do we have? Volume's a little light on NEO though. Again, you want to see NEO in the millions. You have only 700,000 right now, so I don't think it's really in play, or not even if it's in play. I don't think it's active enough to have on your main list or maybe secondary list, right? If we can't find
like 3 times that volume on NEO for it to be truly in play.
You need tons of volume. We're not seeing that, so we'll put it as a possible for now. But again, just not there. CLVS of 5.6 million. Now this stock doesn't trade very well, guys. We've seen the volume on the stock come in plenty of times in the pre-market, and for me personally, I just don't like the way it trades. What's the float on this? Just to check. I don't think it's a low flow stock, which is not 101. But again, just the price action on this one for me is not clean. So I usually keep it off my list. F. Let's look at F here. What do we have? F is up 3.8. Again, another stock that you're going to get the volume, you're going to get the pop. They've been in the news a lot with a lot of positive catalysts on their end. But again, just another stock that doesn't move a whole lot, difficult to intraday trade. So if you like this one, add it to your list. I'd rather watch something else. Instead of this one, I'd rather watch like an AMD or MU or NVIDIA, something that might get a little movement that we can take advantage of. But I'm not going to watch that one. Baba, let's see what's going on with Baba here today. Baba's getting a nice little pop. We are up another 1.5. Again, beautiful double bottom here on the daily. Pre-market action right now pretty flat, but this is typical Baba, and they can still put in a great day. I just don't know if they're really in play here besides the technicals of a nice, beautiful daily here and a possible continuation. So, yeah, we can add as a possible for now. Let's put that on there if it gets the volume. Nike has earnings. Let's see. They are
Nike
down.
Typical Nike. Yes. I hate trading Nike. It's trash to trade intraday.
Oh yeah. Even with news, with earnings, with everything, it is so choppy. It's a typical, like you said, Nike type stock. So it looks good here, guys. The numbers look great. The volume doesn't look great neither. 150. So I'm not going to add it to my list, guys. I'd rather watch something else. AMC, what do we have there? AMC this morning, they got the volume. Their pre-market action is okay. Their daily does look good though. I do like AMC's daily here for a possible breakout. So I might watch that one. That one does look good there. All right, what else, guys? Let's take a few more. UPST, we looked at that one. Yesterday, the day before. It doesn't trade very well. Had a huge day yesterday, but the spread here is just insane in the way this moves. So I'm not going to be watching this one. If you like this one, go ahead. But again, just be very, very careful. Yesterday had an insane day, but again, just the volume is very light on these moves, and I don't like that a stock that's sitting at $90 with a decent sized spread. It's just not the way I like to trade that type of stock. So. All right, let's stop here. Let's see over on YouTube. What do we have, guys? And Nike we do have on here. So we did look at it. I'm not going to keep it because, again, it doesn't trade very well. FedEx, I think we do have on here. Yeah, FedEx had a nice day this morning. They are up 5.5 right now after earnings last night. So they did very well, 196. Again, they don't trade as clean, but it's worth watching. See if we can get a nice breakout here.
You could get a decent one out of there. I mean, that's a lot like Nike. It's not the greatest intraday trading stock unless there's a really severe catalyst, and their earnings were good, but I don't know if that'll do it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that's gonna go. Crowd CRWD, they are volume is very light, only 33,000, up 2%. Their daily's just chopping around here with no volume. I don't think this is a real good one to watch right now. Now, look at this though, right? Look at the action yesterday. Very similar to today, not much going on there. Horrible pre-market. And you still got without looking at the price action and how this thing actually traded, you still got a pretty nice move here, some pretty good candles. So, don't put too much weight into this pre-market action. It could still trade very well. I won't be watching this one, unfortunately, but you could definitely watch this one if you like. If you like to have this on your list, or if you have space for today. Heading up, what do we have? FedEx Crowd. We looked at that ride. Let's take a look at ride. Took a nice hit yesterday on the daily. It's nice. I think they're very extended. Again, they got a negative catalyst here. Short selling restriction today, so you got to be careful on this one. But yeah, this could be a good one later down the line around 11 o'clock or so. Are we going to get any type of reversals? Because again, they're down they're extended on the daily from yesterday. As you can see here, it's just a massive drop. This was very, very nice. So it will be interesting. Maybe a possible, again, not to watch at the open. I think later in the day for a reversal, if that's going to be in the cards for a ride, will be a good one. APHA, what do we have going on here? Not much. Pre-market doesn't look too great right now. Again, just up 2.3, but I'm not seeing great volume. And this one, you need some really good volume on this stock. So I don't see anything exciting there. Let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks not doing a whole lot today neither. Only 27,000 shares traded. They don't get a whole lot of volume.
That's pretty normal. Yeah, pre-market, that's pretty normal.
Do they have anything going on today?
I think they've had some upgrades. They had earnings a couple of days ago. I know that they've been talked about a lot with reopenings and such, but I don't know. That's one of those you kind of have to wait to see if it actually does anything during the day, and don't get stubborn thinking it's going to do something when it's just not in play.
Yeah. So a good one we know this ticker, right? Starbucks here. Wait for it to hit the scanners with some good volume and see if it's trading well. We've taken some pretty good trades on Starbucks, but the volume was there, and you could tell it was a very clean movement there. Laser. Let's see here. What do we have? Pre-market is pretty dead right now, guys. Again, huge drop for them today. Possible second day continuation today. Again, so something could happen there. We'll have to see. But right now, it doesn't look great at all at the moment. But again, after such a big drop, if we can get any kind of bounce or continuation, that would be great. But we'll have to, again, on this one also, we have to wait and see what shakes out of that after the market open. All right, guys, let's stop here. Let's go over to our community announcements. We'll come back and fine-tune this list for this Friday.
All right, guys. Artie's Risk Control webinar is up. Next week, Eamon, Tuesday, 5 p.m. special time. Now, we're getting a hell of a drop on the SPY. I don't know what just happened. Heavy volume coming in. Next Tuesday, 5 p.m., we've got Eamon talking about entries, exits, partials, and all that good stuff. Something that takes a long time to get good at. And Eamon is an excellent trader. Yes, he talks fast, so you might have to listen to it at half speed again later on. But that's just because he's got so much info he's throwing out there that he's got to speak quite fast to be able to get it all out in that hour time frame. So tune in next Tuesday, 5 p.m. All right. Nada's webinar on success not defining you is posted next Wednesday, 8 p.m. the normal time, Town Hall with Dr. Katz. We will have Dr. Katz and two traders discussing successes and failures in trading. All right. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. It should have entries and exits, of course, and then add any commentary you can on the trade. Post it on Twitter, tagging @BearableTraders, @MikeB_BBT, and @NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, Stock Market. We will announce the winner every closing bell show for the trade of the day, also on Twitter. And then on Monday, the trade of the week from the team voting for all the trades of the day over the weekend. If you're watching on YouTube and haven't been in the chat, use the promo code PREMARKET24. That'll get you a discount off the lifetime. I've lost my mind. Off the intro membership. That is not a lifetime unless you're a locust. It is 7 days. 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the chat. Also includes the access to the onboarding class each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, immediately followed by Kyle's new technology class Monday at 9. Doesn't auto-renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Also, if you're looking to either upgrade your membership or become an elite member, use the promo code LUCK40, and that'll get you 40% off the annual elite. Yeah, we just had some crazy moves on the SPY. Unfortunately, I can't listen to the squawk while I am doing announcements, so I have no idea what took place. I'll find out now.
Yep, I'm seeing that now. Once you know, jump in and let us know. But yeah, big drop happening there. We'll come back once Norm has some info there. All right, let's take a look, guys. My list today, I was looking through as we're on a little of an announcement going to the community events there, and it doesn't look great. It's not a lot on here, so it's going to be very, very small today. I do have FSR. I do like this one the way it's moving now. This was good for us a couple of weeks back, so I'm going to watch that one. I have Mara on deck here. Mara trades very well and very clean out of all the Bitcoin type plays, and this one actually has shares for short today. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Looks very good this morning on the daily for a possible breakout. CAN a little bit more active with more volume, so I'm going to keep that one on deck too. Here we have Plug this morning. This one is also has a good pre-market action down 2.8. I do like the daily here for a possible drop if we can lose this great level we have here, or it may be a reversal down later in the day around 11, either 12 o'clock or so. CCIV is good as well, guys. I think this one is okay, not great, but we'll keep it on here. Recap, we have AMC there. AMC actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it could be so brutal, and it was horrible yesterday, guys. Very, very bad trading on it. I mean, it's just it did not want to break out at all. But the dailies just looks great for a possible breakout here. They're going to get the volume as they always do. It's just, can they get a clean breakout? That did not happen yesterday, but we'll give it a shot today. We'll keep it on here. SKLZ, it continues to drop very nice. 4.2 million shares traded already, so this is nice. For a good possible, we got to be careful with that one as far as managing your risk. EBON, I'm going to remove this one. I want to have a very, very focused list today, guys. FedEx, I love the pop here, but I know I'm not going to trade it. I know this is not my typical type of stock, so I'm going to remove it off my list as well. ARRIRY, there could be something going on there. Here is Neo. Neo's starting to, again, I don't think Neo is in play today, guys. I'm going to remove it. We know Neo. We know Starbucks. We know XPEP. We know these other companies that if they get active in our scanners, we can tune into them and see what's going on. But I'm going to remove it from my list today. Baba, same thing here, guys. Just not great yet. Today's going to be, it's going to be real focused in, especially for this Friday. And it's quadruple witching, you know, so I don't know if that is how that's going to react. We're supposed to get some good volume as well based on that. So we'll see. Ride is okay. Laser's okay. Both of these don't have a lot going on as far as volume and movement right now, but they both dropped so much yesterday. I'm curious. I want to see what they're going to do today. I'm curious after such a big drop in both with a bad catalyst. Yeah, I definitely want to see what's going on there. Actually, Laser, I don't think Laser had a bad catalyst. It's just gapped up. It just fell apart. So, but Ride did definitely have a bad catalyst there, -1 at least. All right, that is our list. Low flow stocks here, guys. We have WKE, we have JFIN, and we have ZKIN. ZKIN probably looks the best one, but for me on this Friday, I am going to remove all of these from my list. I won't be watching those at all. So this is my list today. Again, very tight list this Friday. I want to end the week in a very good note. After having such a great week, you want to make sure you're not overextending yourself here. All right, so here we have FSR this morning looking pretty good. Let's do some levels. High of the pre-market looking at 22.44, so that's good level there. You can see plenty of days on the daily here touching that as support and resistance, so that's nice. Over here you have another great daily as well over at 23.80, and then all the way up here at 25.35. Guys, you want to make your money on the move here. Be careful with the number of shares. This thing can really pop and get going. So be mindful of the shares you take here. So again, very active, good volume so far, up 11.4. Here in towards the downside, guys, you see it there, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You're pretty much covered there. Here's Mara, the Bitcoin. I like the daily on Mara, but I like the action I'm getting on CAN. So I'm going to watch both, see which one looks better, and if there's an opportunity. High of the pre-market, 44.38. Above that, you have the highs from yesterday, and slightly above that, you got some, I believe these are all-time highs here, going up to 47.66 and 49.27. But look at this daily here. Looks very interesting. If we could stay above this 42 and get a nice little pop, that would be nice. CAN, for the most part, CAN is on the opposite end, just slamming down against the area of support on here. So this daily also looks very interesting for a possible loss down to the low of 2 days ago. And also we have this 25.41, which is still a good level. You can see that right on here. Still a good level here towards the downside. High of the pre-market for CAN sitting at 30.15. We'll throw a level there. And then above that, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. Here is plug at the moment, stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. Pre-market high and pre-market low very close to both of those levels, but we will mark down the low here at 34.52. Also in here, guys, this is a lot of action happening right on here. I'm going to mark this as well. It's a lot of bounces off that 34.97, almost $35 mark. You want to have that on there as well. We're coming up against that in a few here. Let's see if that's going to hold there at all. If we were to lose this 34.52, which is very close to the low of 2 days ago, what do we have down here? Here we go. Going back into December, let's take a look here on the daily. Right over here, you have a nice double bottom of the daily before the takeoff at 30.69. That's far down. You have another one on here as well. This is a good one too, 33.24. A lot of touches there also. Let's keep an eye on that one as well. All right, so that's plug, guys. Let's look at CCIV. CCIV, I like the daily. We're slamming up against this area support and resistance. This previous day close line has been very, very important for this stock. As you can see how many times we have been touching this 26.90 area. Below that, we do have a clean level of 25.25. Great area of resistance for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And then great area of support for these 2-3 days here as well. Below that, we do have 22.70 and all the way down here at 20.31. Towards the top, guys, I'm going to mark down the high of the pre-market, 27.83, and then above that, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So it's looking okay. It's getting definitely better. Pre-market action here, getting some good volume. Hopefully that continues and we can get a good opportunity. Here's AMC. So AMC, again, I like the daily. Pre-market though, although we have volume, look how choppy it is. It's really all over the place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have space for that one, but this is the least of my favorite, especially how I traded yesterday. It was just so brutal. High of the pre-market, 14.40. And then below that, you have the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, previous day close on this one. Let's see if we can trade a little bit better this morning. And then possibles, we have SKLZ, great pre-market action, good volume, guys. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one. This one might become maybe I'll drop like a Mara. Maybe I'll drop one of the Bitcoin plays here. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Let's move this one up. Let's make space. Can I do it here? Nope. I have to do it here. New row. There we go. Bring that down. Excellent. Delete this. And then we'll bring down, let's see, CAN. It's got more volume. Mara's got less volume and dropping down. CAN looks better for a short. If you're going to go short on this, I like CAN better because of the way it's sitting up against that level. So if you look at a CAN here, right, if we lose this level, we got, can give it, maybe we could hit some stops here and give it a nice room to run. So I like that better if we're going to drop. And right now looking like we're going red. So yeah, we can take a closer look at that one. All right, guys, let's take a look what our moderators are watching. Curious to see what their lineup looks today for this Friday. And I'm already seeing that they're going with a very light list as well. Many traders just having only 1 or 2 stocks in here. So let's bring that over. Let's get, how do I get that message out of the way? There we go. Bring this right over here. With this, you guys should be able to see that good. All right, John is looking at BABA and FU to TU, right? Not this Friday.
FU to you.
Peter is watching IPO. What the IPO is coming out? TIL, FNCH, and also AFCG. IPOs for today. Peter's watch list AMD and waiting to see what pops. I agree 100% with that. It's not a lot that looks great. Even my list is not, we have some stuff on there that's moving, but it's not really all that exciting. Yeah, secondary list, CKIN, Plug, and American Airlines. Dima, she is watching MUTLRY, Fuel Cell, and XPEV. We'll be very careful today. I fully agree with that as well. Tiffany is watching FSR, Plug, and a secondary list, CAN, and Tesla. Jared, FSR, Tesla, and still looking for ideas. Yeah, it's that type of day, guys. It is very, very choppy. You want to be very cautious out there today. There's not a lot that looks great, and it's a Friday. You don't want to force anything. Norm, aside from what we have here, anything else that you like this morning?
No, quite frankly, I might sit out today.
It is one of those days, and more so, guys, if you've done well this week, you want to be careful and protect your profits, and if you have not done well, you don't want to make it worse, right? So it's just got to be very careful on this Friday. especially the way things are looking. This doesn't look to be great at the moment. Brian, he's looking at SKLZ, FSR, and Mara. So again, pretty much what seems to be moving well so far this morning are these three right now. So we'll see if that continues. And then we'll see our scanner, see what pops up there. We might be able to take advantage. Eamon is coming in with his list. He's looking at Plug, Ford, NNDM, secondary list, Oxy, XOM, and PFE on his end. So, all right, that is what we have. Guys, thank you so much.
Just a reminder, just a reminder, we had this weird action that just took place. So kind of a lot of what we had discussed, kind of what I had on my mind is maybe a little bit thrown out the window that we've worked on for the last 45 minutes. That's kind of, and it's also quad witching. And as Jared pointed out, somebody asked what pinning is. That is when the market makers and such will try to stick the price of a stock at a specific level that is most beneficial to them. So it makes it can be difficult to trade on these days sometimes. So I might just watch.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea to just watch at first, seeing how things break out. And if you are going to trade, guys, have some rules set in place where, if you're getting stopped out 2 or 3 times in the same stock, something is wrong. You might need to take a break and just let it play out and come back to it. So, guys, trade safe on this Friday. Again, be very careful out there. Know that you need to be disciplined today. You're not going to be able to make it up tomorrow. You have 2 days to have this thing bouncing around in your head. So do the right thing. Follow your rules as you should every day, but especially on a Friday. It is critical for your mindset, for your trading psychology, to follow your rules so you can enjoy your weekend and come back Monday refreshed to take over the markets again. So take care, guys. Stay safe. Over on YouTube, we're going to continue here in our chat room with Brian and Andrew, if he's feeling a little better. I know he's been under the weather a little bit there.
He's out today.
He's out today, yeah.
And Andrew's out. He texted. He does not have COVID, but he does have some kind of infection, so he is out sick.
Gotcha. So all the best to him. Hopefully he gets better over the weekend. And see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.